Hey guys, Ben with House in Progress. We're back here today to show you how to change out the hardware between your toilet tank and the toilet bowl. Ours has started to break down a little bit and it's dripping on the floor. So this is only a 2 out of 5 on our difficulty scale. We'll show you how to change this out and it's pretty easy. Here we go. So the supplies you're going to need for this project are a towel, first and foremost, to lay down underneath everything. Then you're going to need a kit. You can usually buy this whole kit as one piece, and we'll put a link below. Also grab a sponge just to make sure you can get the toilet bowl clean, and a screwdriver and a 14mm socket in our case. So first step in this project is you're going to want to come down here and of course just make sure your water's shut off. In our case it's a pull valve. You're just going to pull that until it pops. Sometimes you'll see a valve that's round here. You're going to turn that clockwise until the stop, and then you can flush to make sure that your water's shut off. So you can now go ahead and open your flush valve to get all the water out. That's going to drain down and you'll have a little bit left in the bottom. Go ahead and take a sponge or a shop vac to get all the rest of the water out and make sure you have a clean, dry tank to work with. Now that we've got the tank drained, we're going to come in here and take off our inflow hose. It's going to drip a little bit. You can put a bucket under there if you need to. And our next step in the process is we're going to start loosening these 2 bolts inside our toilet bowl. Okay, so we got our bolts loosened up. Once you have them past the point of this lower part of your toilet bowl, you should just be able to pick this up and take it right off. Okay, so once you have your tank off of your toilet, you're gonna lay it down like this. The kit that we showed you earlier came with all the hardware and a new gasket. So we're gonna take this and just pop the old one off before we get ready to put the new one on. Okay, so this is our old gasket here, and you wanna take this to the hardware store with you so that you can make sure you get the right size. We have the new gasket. It's gonna look a little bit smaller than the old one because this is stretched out and worn. But just make sure that the diameter is going to go correctly over here and then fit over the plastic nut that holds this together. So we're going to go ahead and start working this on here. Start at one side, holding this down, and then go around the edges and make sure that each side is pulled all the way over that plastic nut. We're going to take our tank and flip it over because we're going to start feeding our hardware through. Take the kit that we bought. We're going to want the rubber washer to go against the bottom of the tank, followed by the metal washer. So let's go ahead and feed those through. And then that's just going to go through these holes for our hardware. So we'll feed that through. Just let it sit there. Do the same thing with the other one. Okay, so just to show you how the hardware is set up here so you get your order right. Basically, we have our bolt going through all 3 layers. We have rubber washers wherever we're touching porcelain. So we have a rubber washer followed by a metal washer on both sides here to hold that together. That's going to seal in the water in the toilet tank. And then as we come down here, this series of washers and the nut down here is actually what's going to hold your toilet tank onto your toilet bowl. Now that we have everything threaded through, we're going to take a flathead screwdriver to hold this side in place. In our case, we have a 14mm wrench. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down. You just want to be really careful here. Get it tight enough to hold a good seal, not over tight though, because you want to be careful just to not crack your porcelain. Okay, so we're back in the bathroom here. We have our hardware all ready to go. We have our gasket on. We're going to line everything up and carefully drop it back into place. So now go ahead and come under your toilet tank here and we'll start feeding the washers back on. The rubber washer goes first against the porcelain, followed by the metal washer, and then we'll feed our nut on. And you can hand tighten this all the way up and then take out your wrench and tighten it down, just making sure to not over tighten. You don't want to crack the porcelain down here. So our water connection is pretty simple and straightforward. We're going to come up here, start threading that on. Again, these are plastic threads, so you just want to make sure that it's going nice and easy. and you don't cross thread anything, which is easy to do with plastic. And then our last step is we're going to go ahead and turn our water back on. Again, ours is just a push valve. Yours might be a turn. This is going to be a counterclockwise turn if you have one to turn it back on again. As you can see, we're starting to fill, so now we're going to let it fill up and check for any leaks. Make sure everything works and close the toilet tank back up again. Okay, so we checked for all of our leaks. We're good to go. Let's put the top back on. Hopefully this was easy enough. Maybe this can save you some money. Sometimes it's just as simple as switching out the hardware and making sure you get rid of all your leaks. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, 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 hey guys. We're gonna be fixing a problem today that I'm sure a lot of you have had to deal with, and that's leaky hardware from your toilet tank.